Alright guys, Mouse here again. So I finally got a chance to check out the current guild boss and also tested the new two-player co-op battle against the Architect. So in this video, I'll just share all my findings and also give you some tips. Before we begin though, Season 11 of the Content Creator Program is about to end on September 5. If you would like to support me still in the upcoming season and also would like to get 3 new codes with 1k Essence Stones, Skill Scrolls, Abyssal Crystals, and more, don't forget to support and don't forget to extend. The extend button will be available on September 1. Once again, thank you so much. Let's begin. So after checking the giant statue, the boss feels like just a straight copy of Fachtna. First, the true level is still around level 80. I confirmed that by looking at the crit damage values. And next, I checked the defense, and at Rage 0, I tested the Shadow Step and got a 32% damage increase. This suggests that the starting defense is actually very low. But once the boss hits Rage 10, things change. Base damage dropped by about 11%, meaning the boss is tankier. Shadow Step also goes down. Instead of 32%, it's only giving me a 27% increase. So yeah, this is likely exactly the same scaling mechanic we've already seen with Fachtna, having more defense and decreasing the effectiveness of defense decrease as the rage goes up. So just for confirmation, I tested the defense decrease with Kana Ehira's DPS plus Emma for the extra fire unit. I got about 6.1 billion damage. Then I swapped Emma with Choi and the result was basically the same. So even when I actively played with Shadow Step and Bloodlust, which is supposed to be very effective, damage did not really change much. So that tells us that the boss is also resistant to stacking extra defense decreases. Again, just like Fachtna. And if there's any benefit to it, it's probably not that significant. So damage taken also looked normal when I used Vacuum Wave. The numbers lined up exactly as expected, so nothing weird here. And lastly, the crit rate. Compared to the Ant Queen, the crit scaling here feels slightly lower. After 560 hits for each crit stat level, 8k crit rate, I got roughly around 27% crit rate, and with 10k crit, it was around 30%, which are both 2 to 3% smaller than the previous one with the Ant Queen. This could be a small margin of error, but either way, it's still pretty close. So a good number now will probably be somewhere around 10k. So overall, the giant statue is really just basically looking like a Fachtna clone. So if you're running a penetration build with things like Night Killer, just use the SLA formulary by BRR. The real penetration calculator is here to figure out exactly how much you need. The same goes for precision. The recommended amount is still the one for level 80 monsters, which is around 18,700 precision. Now let's move on to the new co-op battle against the Architect. I'm just adding this here because it's a part of the content creator mission. I haven't really studied it that much yet, but in case you don't know about some of the stuff that I'm about to share, feel free to watch this part. First thing to know, of course, you can play this with a friend in a lobby or just queue up for matchmaking, but I'd really recommend teaming up with someone you trust, like a guildmate, so you can plan around the mechanics and distribute your skills accordingly. You get keys here daily and you can store up to 7, so always spend them before they cap. The rewards here are actually very good, especially for new players and free to play, so it's worth doing. And also, if you lose, the key does not get consumed, if I remember correctly, in one of my failed runs, so there's no risk in learning the fight. You also only have 1 revive per run, and after that you're out, so be very careful. Now for the fight itself, the boss is really crazy. It's super mobile and super slippery, and it's also immune to abnormalities like stun, the freeze, or even the time stop of Shadow Step and Moon Shadow, so you can't really use crowd control skills here to stop it. And for the mechanics, at 75% HP, you'll see the color tile mechanics. You just have to step on the correct colors, and sometimes there will be circles in the outer ring, so be sure to check that out. Around 50% HP, the sword mechanic comes out, and this is deadly because the damage is actually based on HP percent. So each hit takes about 10% of your HP, so defense or damage reduction won't help. Even with Tenacity Blessing Stone's damage reduction and defense, I still took the same damage, but shields though can block some of the damage. And finally, at about 20 to 25% HP, tower appears. You need to break them, and again, the damage of the rotating lasers here is HP based. So the most dangerous parts of this fight are these mechanics. If you're doing solo matchmaking, you can't always trust that your partner will clear properly. That's why I recommend, of course, equipping a daily quest completion blessing stone as insurance, just in case things go wrong. For my setup, I ran a dark build with Plum Sword and Moon Shadow. Of course, the water one will probably clear it much easier, but just for the sake of testing it. And for the gears, since the battle lasts 5 minutes and can drag out, I use the expert set on Jinwoo. And stats wise, 8k to 10k crit is enough. And precision versus level 125 monsters should be around 29,279 to get 99%. So the rest of the stats, I just kept them balanced. For support hunters, I used Min for crit rate and punishment debuff, Isla for extra damage and survivability and sustain, and Chahe-in for another debuff in case my partner did not bring one. For the skills, I used magnifying slashes of course, and dispersion just for break utility and a bit more damage, just in case my teammate did not have fast break skills. You can also use vacuum wave or cold ice, just depends on who's doing the main DPS. And for QTE, same logic, I picked the break skills just as a backup. Now, about survivability, I first tried running defense builds with tenacity, but turns out the fatal damage from mechanics can't be reduced by all of these defense or damage reduction stuff. So instead, I think using shield or regen focused blessing stones like camouflage or swift restoration, etc. could potentially be better in surviving those fatal mechanics. But yeah, to wrap it up, just the guild boss is basically most likely just Fachtna again, but less annoying. And the Architect co-op is just like playing a two-player Workshop of Brilliant Light boss. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'm gonna go ahead and do some lineup tests in the guild boss. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.